Welcome back to the Forge. I know it looks like a music studio, and that's because it is a music studio, but it is also called the Forge. And for those people who ask that question, well, yes, it is indeed a music studio. We are looking at the themes that run through the Gospel of Thomas. And because of the way the Thomas Code has now put things together, we can see that there are themes that run through. Those themes are important. They are themes that would have been asked for decades and decades before the Thomas manuscript was put together. This is a spiritual training manual, and it is based on the questions and the inquiries and the thoughts of real people asking questions. How do I progress? What are the barriers? What's the information base that I need? What sort of knowledge do I need in order to move towards unity? That's what it's based on. So these next three, they're about becoming the light for others. Now, previously in this second 18, we had becoming the light. Now we have becoming the light for others. So let's just read them out. 2:13, love your brother as your soul. Guard him like the pupil of your own eye. 2:14, what you hear whispered in your ear, preach from the rooftops. For no one lights a lamp and puts it under a bushel, nor do they put it in a hidden place, but rather they put it on a lampstand, so that everyone who comes and goes may see its light. 2:15, if a blind person leads a blind person, they both fall into a pit. So we can see the theme running through there, being the light for others. Love your brother as your soul. Guard him like the pupil of your own eye. And this is about the discovery of others who are on this path. Those people that you come across in everyday life that start to inquire, that start asking the right questions. Those people that you spot who you suddenly resonate with, you have that sense, that feeling, this person is on this path. And this person needs to be guided at this time in the right direction. There are multiple paths that people can go down that are false trails. Let us say that. They take us to the edge of the well, but don't immerse us. And you will meet those people that you suddenly have that understanding of, this internal kind of feeling that I need to share what I've been through with this person. I need to put this information in front of them because it is about their awakening, and it is about me sharing so that they get that support and guidance from both the physical and the non-physical dimension. 2:13 is about watching out and being aware and finding those people on the path. 2:14, what you hear whispered in your ear, preach from the rooftops. The whispering in the ear is a reference to the living spirit. That is often how that state of consciousness is perceived. It is so fine and so subtle And it is those thoughts that pop into the head, those ideas that you didn't have before, that insight, that moment of understanding. That's that kind of whispering subtlety that is there. And the more you are able to drop your old habits, thoughts, beliefs, ideas, all those things that are feeding the voice in your head, when you start to disengage from the familiar self, that voice quiets down, and that voice becomes the very subtle voice of the living spirit. It is that you sense is guiding, and you are then able to follow in this new direction. There is a purpose within you that becomes stronger, and it is that living spirit guiding you in the way that it wants you to develop. And it tells us, preach from the rooftops. That once again is this sharing, this compulsion that you have at some point that you need to tell other people about what's happening to you, and that there is a path that they can take that will lead them to this new understanding about themselves and the universe around them. And it says, for no one puts a lamp under a bushel. You don't hide that light. When that light starts to shine within you, you can't cover it. That's not what happens during this process of awakening and unity. You get to a point where you can't hide that, and you begin to tell those people around you, and also people on the path, that there is this new way that will help them awaken. And it finishes off. You stick the lamp on a lampstand, and we are back to the city on the top of the mountain. It can be fortified, but it can't be hidden. And once again, this saying does what so many other sayings in Thomas does, and that is to reinforce the message. And that is one of the things that you'll notice all the way through, that we keep recycling back. Here's a different way to look at the same thought, the same theme. Over and over and over, we're told to go back and look, to dive once again into one of these themes, to understand it again and again and again. And here it is, once again, we're going back over material so that you understand the importance of a particular theme. 2:15, if a blind person leads a blind person, they both fall in the pit. It's one of those sayings which has got into everyday use. And it's just saying that you will know when the time to share is right. You will know when it's time to take the cover off the lamp. Before then, it may not be so wise. If you don't fully have the knowledge and the experience, then it can be seen as the blind leading the blind and falling in the pit. Or if you misinterpret the sayings and you only have this surface layer, which is often the thing which is projected out of the sayings, if you have just that surface and you haven't had the knowledge to dive deeper into what is being shared or shown to us, then again we end up in this situation of the blind leading the blind without being fully informed of the process or the full information of what is trying to be conveyed to us. So an extraordinary set of three, once again. Being the light for others, it is both a compulsion that happens during this awakening. But it also comes with this word of warning at the end that says, try not to take people off in the wrong direction if you don't have all of the knowledge about this process available to you. Extraordinary sayings.